Hi, my name is Heather Westlake. I wanted to show you today how to make a wreath card with your Stamparatus tool. Stampin Up sells this great tool that helps you line things up, and in this particular case you can make flowers that line up in certain places on all corners of a card, and so I want to show you how to do that today. This one is actually made with a stamp set that's retiring. It's called Beautiful Bouquet, and it has these great framelits that go with it. I love the font in the stamp set, so I'm very sad it's going away. But I wanted to show you how to do this. I did not make this card up. I'm sorry, I don't know who made it up, or I would give them credit. But so anyway, I want to just show you how to make this one piece here today with the different flowers all around. So let's go ahead and get started. I have my Stamparatus set up. It comes with 2 plates. It comes with 2 magnets, really strong. You want to be sure and put some washi tape around them to get rid of some of that pull that they have. If they stick together, they can be really hard to get apart and they can break, so be careful with that. I made my own template. I've seen where you can purchase them online, but I just made my own pretty cheaply. I just cut a square that's got the same measurements on all 4 sides. Then I just cut a smaller one, hole in the middle, and I just did it with a frame lid. Was easier. So one of the squares, it just sets in here like this, and the other one sets against it 90 degrees as a diagonal here. So I just want to show you what's a great easy way to use this tool to make a pretty card. So you're just going to go ahead and stick your piece of cardstock in there. And then you're going to take whatever stamp you want to start with, and you always want to take whatever stamp you're going to use with a Stamparatus and put it upside down. In other words, put the side down that you're actually going to be stamping with, and just set it on your cardstock wherever you want that to be. And then just shut your plate right on top of it. Oh, I've forgotten something, so that's a great reminder. Let me show you what that's about. When you get a Stamparatus, it also comes with this black kind of foamy plate mat, and it actually adds a little bit of extra height on there, and that's to use with photopolymer stamp sets, which this is. So I had forgotten. So I'm going to go ahead and stick this under there. It's going to give you just that amount of extra height so that this will work with photopolymer stamps. So let me set that back on there. Put my magnets back in opposite corners. We also sell this lined grid paper, and I keep this particular one and just stick it in my bag, and it's got Wreath written on it too, so I can remember, oh yeah, that's my template for the Wreath cards. So now I can go ahead and shut it, and it goes ahead and sticks to that. Hopefully that will stay down where I want it to. So I'm going to go ahead and use, to make it this way today, I'm going to use Blushing Bride for that pink flower. And I'm going to go ahead and just ink it up here really quickly. I also have a Stampin' Pierce mat underneath it here on the right, so the plate doesn't end up bouncing. So I'm just going to ink that up. Carefully move it over and then lift it back. Then I'm just going to turn this piece of paper. You can turn it either direction, it doesn't matter, just stick it in the next notch. I do have a little bit of sticky tape underneath there to help it stay down for when I'm doing this. And you just go one corner by corner, and again just move it. Once you start in one direction, I'd recommend keep going in that direction. And you see how you can just line it up in the 4 corners there pretty quickly and pretty easily. Apparently I didn't stick it down hard enough in the middle that time. This card takes a little more time, so it would be a little bit harder to mass produce this. Not that you can't, but it would take a little more time. So if you look at the sample, that's taking care of my pink one. Now I also need the middle of the flower, and I'm not great with that. I think it's called a stamen, but not really sure. So what I need for that is I'm going to put the center, and again I'm just going to place it right where I want it on the stamp, upside down. And then flip this back over. It'll be right where I need it. Change my ink color. I'm going to use a little bit of rich raspberry for that one. And again, just ink it up. Flip it over. Move this to the next corner. Flip it over. And the plates are plastic. So if you do get a little bit of ink on there like I did, you can just wipe it off pretty quick and carry on. I know a lot of people use the Stampin' Spots to ink up on your Stamparatus. They do work a little better because they're so small. I don't really have them in a lot of colors, so I'm not going to do that, but just saying those work great for that as well. If you're a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, you get a lot of those. You get one every month, so you're set to go for that. So we're good for the center. Let's go ahead and move on to the Pool Party flower, which is in between. Now this time you'll notice that it makes a little more sense to move it to the other template, the one that's just a square sitting straight on. And then we can go ahead and place the flower right in the middle. So that's what I'm going to do for this one. And again, just put the flower upside down right where I want it to be. Whoops, again, I didn't stick this in the middle very well. So, Pool Party, one at a time. Just want to make sure I got good coverage there. Right in the middle. So this time I'm going to move it again, but just remember which one you're sticking it in. Be sure and place it just in the straight one this time instead of the one that's at an angle the other direction. Oh, and I stuck my thumb in it. Hopefully that'll get covered up. So you can see us stampers are not always perfect either. So you can see I didn't get very good coverage there. Another great way to show you what you can do with a Stamparatus. If you don't get great coverage, just ink it up a little bit again and go right over the top, because since it's perfectly lined up, it'll end up right over and you don't have to guess. That's another great way to use your Stamparatus. And then again, I want to put a center inside of this, so I'm going to pick a different one. And again, just set it upside down right where I want it. And again, I'm going to use Rich Raspberry for that. Like I said, it does take just a little bit of time, but really worth it, and whoever you send it to is going to appreciate all the time that you took to make it. I also have washi tape that's great to hold things on here to help them to not move. One more center and then we're good to go. The last flower I'm going to do is actually Rich Raspberry, and it doesn't have a center, so we'll be good with that. So if you look at the sample card, some of the flowers do overlap just a little bit, but because the Rich Raspberry is so much darker, it still shows up and it looks like it's actually in front of it, so that's kind of a bonus there by using a dark color for that. And again, I'm going to turn it this way so I can really see how that lines up there in between the two Pool Party flowers. Again, this is a Rich Raspberry. And then again, just remember which template you're sticking it in. I got a little crazy with the ink apparently, so let me wipe that off. Gets on the card. It's a little bit tighter than the sample one, but again, there's no wrong way to do it. That's the great thing about stamping and doing crafts. There's no wrong way to do it. Whoever you give it to will just appreciate that you took the time to do it yourself and make that for them. Now the leaves, you don't have to do it as detailed as I did on the sample one. There was actually 2 leaves, so I'm going to see if I can get that line back up the way it was. And again, you just want to set those down right where you want them to be. So I'm trying to hit right in between the 2 petals of the Blushing Bride flower. Alright, and for the leaves, I'm going to use Pear Pizzazz. So again, I'm just going to really carefully shut this and hope they stick. Great. And that's a great thing too. You can ink them both up at the same time and stamp them at the same time, which is handy. And then again, just remember which template you're sticking it in. Two more. I had a request to show how to do a wreath card, so that's what leads me to do this today. So there you go, pretty quick and simple. And again, it's just a great way to line things up. You can do any kind of things. You could put little animals in a circle. You could make an actual floral wreath that looks without something in the middle that looks even more like a wreath, or you can just line them up like I did today. So anyway, I hope that makes sense. I hope you're having a great day. See you next time.